All right, sup. This is gonna be a tank guide, um, specifically around bronze to diamond, and I want to talk about how to carry yourself with tank. So, I mean, everyone can watch it. DPS, you're not gonna be able to play DPS every single game. If you're trying to carry and climb, you're going to need to, be open to swapping. Now, I'm not going to go over every single character and all their abilities or nothing like that. I'm going to strictly talk about carrying yourself playing the tank role. Now, probably the key factor here with tank is probably leverage. Um, whatever tank you pick, you want to be maximizing the leverage that you're giving your team over the enemy team. So, say for example, this will be really obvious, and I'm going to show some video footage so you can understand it and see it for yourself better. But an example of weak leverage would be off tanking solo. What's the point of the tank? The job of the tank is to absorb and take the aggression of all the enemy team onto you. You know, look at me, and stay alive while doing that. Now, really quick, let's go over. There's two tanks. There's main tank and there's off tank. These two are off tanks. Venom's an off tank. Thor's an off tank. Now, these four right here are main tanks. The main tank is going to be sitting on the choke. They sit on the choke. They don't really move. And they really take a lot more damage. Now, Penny and Groot, they're kind of like control tanks, except Groot's able to get in the face of people more. Penny is really good, though, at setting traps and abusing angles. Just constant damage from Penny. Stalling out matches, very good with Penny, because her ultimate is so long. It's such a long ultimate. You're going to be winning a lot of games by just getting your ult first with Penny, and then, around, say you're playing a domination match, when it gets to 60% and the enemy team is trying to find a time to push, right at like 65%, you're going to want to pop your ultimate and try as hard as you can to get a pick. But the enemy team, they're not going to want to push that. They don't want to push the ultimate. I mean, at 65 or so percent, you should be looking to, execute the game, win the game off just her ultimate. You're going to carry a lot of games like that. Also, if enemy team is pushing up too much, they overextend, they step on your web, you just trap them, and your auto bots come and kill them instantly. You'll carry a lot of games with her. Groot, he's super good at punishing dive comps, for example, or teams fighting that are fighting front to back. Not dive comps, but like solo off tanks, for example. You're gonna see those, and you should look at those as completely free wins, because you can't solo off tank in this game. So you're gonna win a lot of games, carry a lot, by just zoning off, doing no damage, not killing anybody, but simply zoning people off the objective. That's how you're gonna be carrying with Groot. I'm gonna suggest, by the way, that you play these 5 people right here. I wouldn't even consider bothering touching these people. Above all else, have fun, though. I mean, you're going to get a lot more reps and matches in, and you're going to learn faster having fun. So play whatever you want. Just have fun. But if you're trying to carry and you're trying to be serious, play these 5 people. Now, Strange is Groot also. Very good at fighting with, like, Bucky, Punisher, Hela. Very good at fighting with people that sit behind you. For example, Black Panther and Psylocke, they don't fight behind you. They fight ahead of you and on the side of you. So you're not tanking for them, but you tank for people like Punisher and Hela, for example. Now, you fight front to back with him. The way you're going to be carrying your matches is getting your ult and then just looking to execute a team. I'm gonna say though, you have the same with Groot. You have to make sure you're calling out these two ultimates. Your team has to know if you have any competent DPS on your team, they're gonna really wish that you told them that you were about to ult, so that they can punish. But you're gonna carry a lot of games getting 3 and 4 man ultimates. I would say the best thing to make sure you're carrying is do not trade your ultimate. Really try hard not to trade your ultimate. Don't use Strange ult, and then just to have it countered by a Luna ult or a Mantis ult. The ult that you do, you need to make sure you're winning the point, you're capturing the point, or you're getting a big push off of your ultimate. That's how you need to use your ultimate. It's extremely important if you're looking to carry yourself. So, yeah, when you're carrying with Strange, you're going to be getting really clutch portals, and you'll just find those along the way. You'll see other strangers do it. You'll start knowing those. Look them up. Stalling out the game with portal, clutching, flying over the top of the choke, letting the enemy team push in, dropping down and ulting. Even ulting, even using your portal and then ulting right out of your portal. There's a lot of ways that you can carry with him. You can get real creative with Strange. Penny, I already said Penny. Thor is a very good off tank. You need to make sure you have a main tank though. You're gonna be carrying with Thor, not by his ult. His ult sucks. If you can get a good combo, sure, but your carry potential is gonna come from just your raw damage, popping squishies, or you know, if the enemy team has a Hela that's trying to get a nasty side angle, you'll be able to punish her real easily. Because you don't have to use skill to fight them. That's really the main thing. You have so much leverage over all the DPS. You just walk up and kill them. That's just how it goes. Yeah. So you'll carry a lot of games just with picks and damage and protecting your healers from getting ganked by their assassins. Now Magneto, you're gonna be carrying with him. A lot of the time by say the enemy team has a good DPS players like Star-Lord, or they have a Hela that's going crazy, or even a Punisher that's doing a lot of work. You're going to be saving your team a lot playing Magneto. If you know they have a good player, you can bust out Magneto. The majority of the time though, it's gonna feel easier to carry with these four. It's just a lot easier. You're playing super defensive. You have to have your teammates need to be a little bit more competent with this character. If you're playing this character. But yeah, that's how you're going to be carrying with these people. Now let's look at. I want to make sure you guys are not dying to just ridiculous stuff. So let's take a look at a match. Thor is a very good character. But what do we see right off the bat, though? We have the off tank is the only tank. You can't, unless you're playing full dive or something, or doing something specific and on purpose, you cannot, if you're trying to carry yourself, you cannot play solo main tank or solo off tank. It's just not possible, especially, the reason it's not possible is the leverage. The amount of effort that you and your team have to put in is totally lopsided compared to the effort the enemy team has to put in. That's why it's not good. Now, let's look at it from this view, though. The enemy team has to push through this choke. Now, the reason you have a main tank is to tank, the frontal damage of everybody. So when they get to this choke, who's gonna be able to take that damage? It's not Thor. Thor only has 1 health bar. Magneto has at least 2 health bars. The reason Magneto has double Thor's health is because Magneto's going to take all the damage at this choke, he's going to shield, and he's going to get healed to full. His only option is to just run away. Not only that, but he'll be feeding ult charge. So he cannot play in this choke. He's just going to get eaten alive. Let's look at what ends up happening. Okay, so this team is pushing on this choke. And right now, this team, these two DPS and healer are tanking. Thor knows that he can't tank that. Okay, they even have a pick here. But look at this. This is what fighting front to back looks like, by the way. Magneto is in the front, the DPS behind with the healers. Now, the only possible really thing that should be able to happen here is this team is forced to walk up because they have no tank, or back up. They're forced to just keep walking back. But how do you win this game right here? You win the game by not letting this team touch this. But how can you possibly expect to stop them from touching it when you're forced to back up, you know? When you're selecting your character, it's exactly what happens. Not many kills even right here. Yeah, like 1 or 2 or 3 kills. Now, I mean, I've said it before, you don't need kills or damage or anything. This team is simply forced to get off the point. Just because of the tank pick here. When you're tanking, you have a gigantic opportunity. Say, for example, Bucky and Hela, very good characters for you to play a frontline shield tank. To play like a Groot and play with your Bucky. Help your Bucky get kidnaps with his hook and his punch. And then you wall off the enemy team. Does the blue team switch here? They should know, but they don't, that they can't do this like this, because what's going to happen? This same scenario that happened here is just going to keep on happening until the very end. Do they end up switching, though? Remember that Magneto has double the health bar of Thor. There's no possible way that Thor is going to be able to sustain the damage. The only scenario here that blue team wins is someone just carries and goes totally crazy. That is the only way. See if they switch or they change anything. They're not changing anything. And they're just going to keep on pushing.
They've made it halfway! Stop them!
Okay, now take a look at this. They just say screw tanking. The tank says screw tanking. It's not working. And this guy went Punisher. They said screw heals. Now you have to think, imagine the comms, right? Imagine they could be saying stuff like, why are the DPS diff? They're not killing anything. We've heard that a million times, and we saw what just happened. The same way they got through the choke in the beginning, they just kept on doing it. Why? Because there is no tank. There is no one to absorb the damage or to sustain the damage long enough for any DPS to do anything. Let's look and see what happens on the flip.
Superpowers are amazing. The battle starts in 5, so 4, 3.
Bucky ends up getting picked on the blue team. Let's go to him. Let's look at this view. Bucky gets picked. They still had no tank, and Bucky says, "I'm gonna tank. I'm gonna get on it." Right off the bat, though, we see, where is Venom at? Sorry, let's go back. It's important to see the way that he chooses to get in there. Okay, so he chooses to take that choke right there through the room. He's playing an off tank though. It's crazy because this is the exact same problem that they had with Thor, is that there was no tank. This is just an ult machine. Now this is 4 or 5 people all charging they're able to charge their ult, all of them. You cannot frontline tank as a main tank. Now remember, the only case scenario here is that someone either throws or carries. They should be able to permanently keep charging ult, and then they just win off of ult charge. Let's check out this view. They should have realized, if you're tanking, you should have realized, you should have been able to foresee that first scenario and then act accordingly, like pick a frontline tank here. Okay. So Squirrel Girl just picked, they just got to pick on their healer. So what do we see here? Blue team has 3 DPS, 2 heals, 1 tank. This team is running 2-2-2. Squirrel Girl gets a pick here. Now this is a small amount of carrying what's happening right here. Squirrel Girl got a pick, and now Hela is coming to chase her around. Chasing her to her spawn. Worst possible thing she can do. Hard throwing, and then hard carrying is what this is. Because she got a pick, and now she's dealing with Hela. So her one character is dealing with 2 people. So we see their DPS here, and that's it. They have no DPS on point. Magneto is tanking for nobody right here. And it's a 1-2-3 versus 1-2-3-4. And that's just how it goes. 4 people get to beat 3 people. The leverage is too crazy. So Squirrel Girl took out 2 people out of the game. That shouldn't have happened, though. The correct way that was supposed to be played was everyone stays with Magneto and they fight front to back like normal because they are playing an off tank. There's nothing that can be done. All right, let's take a look at this Penny real quick. You're trying to carry yourself, right? So when you're looking to carry with Penny, you remember, what are her strengths? Trapping people, zoning people off. Maximize playing to their strength as much as you can. Her spider bomb placement right there, it's not good. She doesn't want people to kill it, but she can place it behind the wall and prevent anyone from coming in this whole entire area. When it's right here, it's no threat. So it's like this entire ability is rendered useless just by the placement alone. Now, this is just, I mean, you have to understand the character a little bit, but you also just need to consider the variable. I have a trap that spits out bombs. You know, how could I maximize that? You know, what does it do? You really want to think about the variables that you have to control. Think about how to leverage the most value out of them. She's so strong here because all she needs to do for this point is just keep on firing shots down the choke right there until she gets ultimate, and then just pop ultimate and keep stalling out the game. Her ult lasts forever. And she's stopping herself from carrying this match by this simple thing right here. So make sure you don't just do stuff. Make sure you have a purpose for where you're doing something. It's almost like speaking. Don't speak without thinking. You know, have your actions mean something. Have a plan for them. It's just so easy for them to not have to think about Penny at all, because it's not like she does crazy amounts of damage. Just auto attacking. They were able to just ignore her because half of her kit was not being used. All right, let's look at the flip side. Let's watch Penny, because this is the character you're gonna want to abuse and play a lot. Now, Penny is fine here. The biggest thing, remember, you're trying to carry. You're trying to carry. The longer that you have abilities off of cooldown and just sitting there, you're minimizing your carry potential. You need to look for every opportunity to use an ability and get value out of it. So right off the bat, she needs to straight line it and start getting her ability down. She's really strong anchor. She needs to go right off the bat, right up to that alien tank vehicle looking crane thing, whatever. And put her box down there. This is way too far back. Way too far back. Remember, it's a trap device, right? It almost sounds... It sounds so simple what I'm saying, but people are... This happens. People are not thinking. They're just putting things down. That her ability is a trap. People have to stand in her webs, and then the bombs come and chase them down. If the enemy team pushes up all the way to there, they're hard throwing. It's like something's... You don't want to make the enemy team have to throw for you to win. You have to be able to make the play. You know, you have to go out there and be productive. You can't just hope the enemy team throws or that you get carried. Very non-proactive way to use that. And I'll just say, I don't recommend you play Venom, but he's not a frontline tank right now. He's playing in the front line. He needs to... Their whole team is just charging ultimates off of him. The best thing for Venom to do is go sit behind him and like be real annoying. Make the enemy team have to turn around and look for the Venom. That's how it needs to be. Even if you're not doing anything, if the enemy team is having to turn around and turn their whole back to your team, you're doing a lot of work there. So they picked the Venom, which is pretty huge. And right from that pick, if you're trying to carry, you need to look, how can I get more leverage here? More leverage. Putting pressure is going to give you a lot more leverage. You guys have 2 picks though. On your team, and the enemy team has 1 pick. Now remember, you're attacking. Your walk back is a little bit quicker. In Overwatch, you're actually punished a lot more for kills. I found out, you know, the rotations are almost instantaneous in this game. The maps are super small. Yeah, I honestly imagine they'll do something about that. Remember, you absolutely need to not die. You really need to look at your life as extremely valuable. Penny shouldn't just be dying there, but just make sure you're counting the picks.
Just needed a few repairs.
But they killed a tank, which is a gigantic kill. A kill on a tank is huge. She needed to immediately start pushing her trap box up as much as she can. Anchor. Push up, anchor with your trap again. She needs to not play. She needs to not play behind her healers.
This is real firepower.
It's looking rough, but that's how it's forced to go. If a team has ultimate and you don't, and they ult, you just have to let them do whatever they want to do. Just nothing that you can do about it. The failure was everything prior, everything before. But the blue team's Venom just frontline tanking and just
needed a few repairs.
getting... Everyone's charging their ult like crazy. Very, very bad to do that. You have to be extremely conscious. If you're trying to carry with tank, you have to be extremely conscious of how much ult charge you're feeding the enemy. You can see Penny just kind of trying to find something to do. She's not tanking for all of that. She's not tanking very much at all. No one's attacking her. She has the attention of no one. Obviously, she's pretty hard throwing her ultimate. She needs to spread those things out like crazy. Now, I'm going to say you have to really she could be thinking that, why are we not winning? Why are we not winning? He's playing a tank and not tanking, though. You have to understand how much carry potential you really have. There's so much more that you can do. Very wasteful right clicks. Wasteful. No value out of them. There's a Black Panther on there, and it's like she's running away from the Black Panther, who... Black Panther cannot kill a tank. It's impossible. Something extremely wrong if Black Panther's killing people. This is another thing. Make sure that you're not doing this right here. Tanks don't just kill tanks like this. It's not supposed to happen at all. You're just wasting your whole body. You're tanking a tank. It's just, it doesn't do any good. He's winning this outcome because he's wasting your time. So Venom doing this on defense is way more valuable than Penny doing that. It's weird because they're doing the same action, basically, but it's leverage. Venom has way more leverage because he's defending. So, the most valuable commodity that the defending team has is time.
Tremble before Bast!
And she's just trying to get on point, but... yeah, and that, I mean, it's just over. It's, I can't remember what rank this is. This might be like silver or something. But yeah, you might have these kind of games and you're wondering like, wow, what can I do? What can I do? We just saw this whole entire character was completely wasted. No value out of any of the abilities at all. None. All right, let's recap on what's most important. Don't feed your ultimate. If you're playing off tank, don't jump in to the front of 5 players like that Venom did and just start feeding your ult like crazy. You don't give them 5x ult charge. Very, very bad. Don't trade your ultimates. Don't Groot ult so that you can trade for their Luna ult. In some cases, sure, that's gonna win you a match or two. I mean, play it by ear, do what's necessary, but you want your ultimates at the end of the day to be the one that clears the point, to gets the objective, to gets the team wipe. You want to be proactive carry style ultimates. Make sure you're tanking for somebody, not nobody. So if you're playing like a good shield tank, but you're running like dive DPS, the DPS are just in there fighting their whole team by themselves because you're playing, you know, a Strange with just your healers behind you. You want to be as valuable as you possibly can. You want to be as helpful as you possibly can. You want as much leverage to support your DPS to do stuff. So make sure you consider playing someone like Groot or even Penny to help trap the enemy team and get free picks. Remember, we just saw that Penny wasting abilities, not getting much value out of abilities. The very second that that ability is off cooldown, you want to find a way to get as much value out of it as possible. Good players and players that are carrying, every time their ability is off cooldown, they're going to get a kill. They're going to do something that's going to make a drastic change. That's what you want to do. This is pretty gigantic for tanking. You're the one that takes your team where they're going to go. You're the one that says, all right, we're going to go over here and accomplish this. You're the tank. So you have to make sure you're tracking what team is up or down players. So if you're down players, do not go in and just, you know, waste your whole, you're just wasting time. You can't waste time. You cannot be wasting time in this game. This is one I didn't really go over a whole lot. Cheese as often as you can. Say you're playing Penny, for example. Before the match starts, run up and push traps down on the ground. Push up as far as you can. If you wipe a team, just push up all the way. Get cheesy, cringy, nasty, be as annoying as you possibly can. There's so many times and different ways to cheese. You need to abuse every second of them. This is extremely specific to Penny, but there's a few maps where she is just extra strong because of the places that you can put her mind box down. So make sure you do that. It's mostly the choke maps. But if you have any other questions about that, about anything specific about tanking, just comment and I'll get to it as soon as I can. But as far as like champion tutorials and stuff like that, I'm sure that there's probably a lot of, ways that people are abusing Penny and the other tanks right now. So I'm sure you can find those. Time is more valuable than kills. Pushing is more valuable than kills. Remember, we're here to push the payload to the end, not get kills or do damage or tank damage. We're here to capture the point, not get kills. Very important to understand that difference. I think that's everything. There might be something I forgot. If you have any questions, though, just let me know. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Man, sorry it took me a while to get this video out. The holidays came up all of a sudden. I didn't even realize it for some reason. But yeah, just let me know if you guys need anything. I'll see you soon in the next one.